And so what happens is, this just isn't for me. It doesn't work. I can't do it. So we turn around and go back to the exact same spot that we were in before. When with a little persistence, and sometimes it's just a single step, you take that 6th step, and all of a sudden, something changes. You begin to see that you have more positive expectations, that you are going to make it, and it's like a lock has been unlocked of sorts. So we have hope, we have passion, we have persistence, and the last is perseverance. And perseverance is different than persistence in. Perseverance is just establishing a constitution within us that will not surrender and will not defeat. And perseverance tells us that I may take 10 steps in order to get to point A, from point A to point B. But when I'm on the 8th step, perseverance says, I realize that perhaps C might be better for me. So we take a turn. Perseverance is always looking out for what it is we're going towards or something better. And that should always be the foundation of our prayers. Dear God, thank you for the power to allow me to move towards this or something better. Always this or something better. When we look around through nature, we don't see a sense of hopelessness anywhere. I mean, the birds and the bees, flowers and trees, they aren't out there in a state of despair. They aren't hopeless. Most of them wake up in the morning. They have absolutely nothing to eat. They have minimum shelter. And yet they live their life with a sense of hope. That hope motivates them to go out and do what they have to do to have a fulfilling and comfortable life. If we search all through nature, nowhere can we find a sense of hopelessness except within the human body. So my question is, why is that? Why of the millions of species and the billions of different life forms on this planet, are we the only ones that fall into a state of hopelessness? And oftentimes that hopelessness causes us to give up. And oftentimes giving up causes us to step back and not really reap the rewards of our existence, not really move forward to capture our prosperity, but to just sit, to get stuck in a way where life seems to be very mundane and very monotonous. Hopelessness is a state of mind. It has nothing to do with what's going on outside of you. It has nothing to do with the conditions of other people. There is always reason for hope, no matter what it is. You know, I was talking to some people earlier, and there was a person that had a disease, that has a disease, and it has moved into a point where it's life-threatening. And so we're talking, well, what do we do with this? You know, how do we handle it? And a woman had happened to go through the same thing with the same disease with her husband 9 years earlier. And so she was experiencing this whole thing again. And we came to the point where we have to maintain hope. Always maintain hope. And even if the person is going to die in the near future, hope is still good in that it enlivens the day. Today we have hope that this can be a good one. If we were to make a trip from here to California, and we sat in front of all the different things that can happen to stop us from making that trip, of all the problems, of all the challenges, of all the unexpected surprises, we made a long list of them. By the time we got done, we probably wouldn't take the first step. We'd look at it, this is impossible. It would render us hopeless. But at the same time, people do it every single day. If we have hope, we know that the trip isn't going to be problem-free, but we know that we have within us whatever it's going to take to move beyond the problem and rise above the challenge. Hope can be a funny thing. You know, so oftentimes people will say, well, I hope to win the lottery. You know, I hope that this will happen, that will happen. It's totally out of the realm of chances of it happening. Yet at the same time, when we use hope for everyday life, if we just sit down and say, I hope today everybody has a meal to eat. I hope today and that no person gets killed by another person. I hope today that this world will elevate to a higher level of consciousness and fully realize the paradise that we're living in and do everything that it can to make a healthy environment. Those are good hopes to live by, and just because it doesn't happen in one day doesn't mean that the hopes are false hopes or that it's a waste of time. It's continually sending out that energy. And as soon as enough people do that, that energy begins to affect the mass consciousness of the earth, and things begin to change, but it all begins with hope. Hope first. Second step is faith. I want it to happen. I know it will happen. So as we move into meditation, think about the hope in your life. Is it there? Is it alive? Is it well? Is it strong? Or is it diminished over the years? Have things happen that have put you in a state of hopelessness, and you've kind of just sat there waiting for the bus to come by to take you off someplace where you can find a sense of hope? The hope is here right now. It's in your heart, it's in your mind, it's in every single cell of your body. It's a part of the spirit within you. Everything you see has come forth with a sense of hope. We'll now move into meditation.